Imagine a world without cities. No writing, no laws, no wheel. Just the slow, brutal rhythm of survival that lasted for hundreds of thousands of years. And then, suddenly, silence breaks. About 6,000 years ago, in the dust of southern Mesopotamia, history didn't just begin. It exploded. The Sumerians appeared on the timeline with a civilization already fully formed. They had advanced astronomy, complex mathematics, and the first written words of mankind. Mainstream history tells us civilization is a slow climb up a ladder. But the Sumerians look like they took an elevator straight to the top. Who were they? How did they build an empire out of mud? And did they unlock the secrets of the universe alone, or did they have help? To understand the mystery, we must look at the map, the land between two rivers, the Tigris and the Euphrates, the cradle of civilization. But this was no Garden of Eden. It was a harsh land. No forests for timber, no mountains for stone, no metal deposits, just endless scorching sun and river mud. Yet limitation breeds genius. The Sumerians looked at the mud beneath their feet and saw the future. They invented the mold. They baked bricks in the sun. With nothing but mud, they built Uruk, the world's first true metropolis. A city of thousands, surrounded by massive walls, defying the empty desert around them. They tamed the unpredictable rivers with complex irrigation canals, turning dust into food. This surplus allowed them to stop hunting and start thinking, and what they thought of changed human destiny forever. They weren't just survivors anymore, they were creators. But their greatest invention wasn't the bricks, it was what they put on them.
5 measures of barley for the basket.
5. I will give you 3.5.
You are stealing my dates, man. Pay the price.
In a world of oral traditions, the Sumerians did something revolutionary. They decided to freeze their thoughts. They invented the first writing system, cuneiform. It started as simple accounting, tracking grain and beer. But soon, it evolved into poetry, law, and history. For the first time, a human could speak to the future. But their genius wasn't just in words. Look at your watch. Why is a minute 60 seconds? Why is a circle 360 degrees? Because of them. The Sumerians used a base 60 mathematical system. It was so perfect, so divisible, that 6,000 years later, we still measure our time and geometry by their rules. And then, the wheel. Contrary to popular belief, they didn't just use it to move rocks. They militarized it. They created the first chariots, changing warfare forever. Schools, courts, medicine. The blueprint of our modern society was drawn in the dust of Sumer. But how did a primitive people achieve this leap so quickly?
Heave it up, quickly now! Watch the oil! Get these jars to the upper wall market, move faster!
If you ask a modern historian how they did it, they will say human ingenuity. But if you could ask a Sumerian, they would give you a very different answer. They claimed their knowledge was a gift from the Annunaki. The word literally translates to, those who from heaven to earth came. The mystery deepens when we look at their astronomy. Thousands of years before telescopes, Sumerian tablets depicted our solar system with frightening accuracy. Some interpretations suggest they knew about planets we only discovered in the modern era. How could they know the color of Uranus or Neptune without seeing them? Their stories are equally baffling. The Epic of Gilgamesh tells of a great flood sent by angry gods to destroy mankind. A story written centuries before the Bible's Noah. Is it possible that the history we know is just an echo of a much older truth? Were the gods of Sumer merely myths, or were they visitors? But no empire lasts forever. The very rivers that gave them life eventually turned against them. After centuries of intense irrigation, the soil became salty and toxic. The fields turned white with salt. The wheat died. The first cities began to starve. It wasn't an alien laser or a sudden explosion. It was an environmental collapse. Weakened by hunger, they became easy prey. The Elamites, and later the Amorites, swept in. The great walls of Uruk were breached. The Sumerian language ceased to be spoken on the streets. By 2000 BC, the Sumerians had vanished as a distinct people. Their cities were buried under the shifting sands, waiting to be forgotten for thousands of years. But did they really die? Look around you. When you check the time, when you write a letter, when a judge bangs a gavel, you are echoing the Sumerians. They were the spark in the dark, the first ones to say, "We are here." They laid the foundation for every civilization that followed, including ours. Whether they were taught by the gods, or were simply the first geniuses of history, remains the ultimate question. What do you think? Was the sudden rise of Sumer natural human evolution? Or was there an intervention from above? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching Wisdom Seeker. Until next time, stay curious.